Hi, this is my guide for Arms Warrior. We're gonna start out with your talents. Um, this is me from the future. I forgot to put the glyphs in the guide, so I'm gonna go over those and put that in before the talents. So your glyphs, you want Glyph of Slam, Overpower, and Mortal Strike as your primes. Berserker Rage, Battle Shout as your minors. Um, These two are kind of important. If you have downtime in a fight, you want to use Battle Shout, and you always want to use Berserker Rage. If there's no fears in the fight, you basically want to use it off cooldown, generate 5 rage. It's not on your global, so it's important to kind of weave those in. It'll make a difference. It'll get you an extra Mortal Strike here and there, so you're not waiting for your auto attack to generate more rage. And then this is just AoE. This is just making sweeping strikes cost no rage, and this is just reducing the cooldown. And that's it for your glyphs. This is pretty standard. You can just Google your talents. It's just a single target. The only difference for AoE is you take 2 points out of Executioner and you put it into Blood and Thunder, so that when you Thunderclap after you rend, you get rend on every target. Next, we're going to do stat priority. So you want to hit your expertise cap, which is 26%. I'm at 29% because I'm an orc, and I get extra expertise off of my racial, and I cannot get rid of any more of it. Then you want to hit your hit cap, which is 8%, and then from there it's strength, critical strike, mastery, haste, and then next we're going to go over macros. Macros are probably the most important part of this guide that most people aren't going to know. You want to have macros so that you are always in Berserker stance. And your Berserker stance basically just adds 5% extra damage. And so the only damage buttons that you're not going to be in Berserker stance for is Rend and Overpower. So instead of manually stance dancing, what we're going to do is we're going to add this macro to every button that's important that you're going to be pressing. So for example, Colossal Smash is going to be in Berserker stance. So just copy this macro. If you wanted to be in Battle stance, you would just do No Stance 1 instead of No Stance 3, and then put Battle stance afterward. And basically what this does, I'll show you. So I'm in Battle stance, I rend, I stay in Battle stance, and then when I Mortal Strike, it automatically swaps me into Berserker stance. So you don't have to manually stance, which makes this class a lot easier to play. I was doing it manually for a while, and it was kind of miserable. So you just want to apply that to all of your damage abilities. Next, we're going to go over your opener. So I see a lot of people doing their opener wrong. I get a lot of whispers on how I'm doing more damage than other Arms Warriors that are more geared than me, and they want to know what I'm doing. And so your opener is going to be Charge, Rend, Colossal Smash, Mortal Strike, Overpower, usually fit a Slam, and then Mortal Strike, and another Overpower. And that's your basic opener. From there, you're going to be going into a priority queue of your abilities. So once I get abilities off cooldown, I'll go over the priority queue. So Colossal Smash is always your first priority. Mortal Strike is next. Overpower is next. And then Slam and Heroic Strike. You only want a Heroic Strike when you have extra rage. Otherwise, you're going to be using all your rage on Slam as your filler instead of Heroic Strike. So I see a lot of people casting Overpower as soon as it comes up. You don't have to worry about that. You can Colossal Smash, Mortal Strike, and then Overpower because you have 5 seconds to cast it before you get your next proc. I'll show what I mean after this rend falls off. So when you rend, you get an overpower. Or actually, I'll take that off. When you rend, and the cooldown wears off, you get your overpower proc. You have 5 seconds to use it, so I can hold on to it. And then my rend will hit again, and then I get another one. So basically what that means is you don't have to cast overpower as soon as it comes up, and you can follow your priority better. So people will cast it as soon as it comes up instead of holding on to it and then casting it, and they're getting less mortal strikes out, essentially. Make sure you cast Colossal Smash before Mortal Strike if it's up. It's very important. It's more important than any other button. You don't have to worry about upkeeping Rend because Mortal Strike refreshes it. The only difference in priority when you're in execute phase is you get a buff to your execute off of casting Mortal Strikes. I'm sure there's a weak aura for you, for the people who use weak auras that use this, but you essentially want to keep this buff up. So you only want to not cast execute and cast Mortal Strike if this buff is about to fall off. You don't want to cast Mortal Strike off cooldown in execute phase because then you're losing executes. You just want to maintain this buff. And then I'll show you what I use as my burst off of my opener. I see a lot of... I don't know what the exact proper way is, but this is what I do, and it works for me. Wait for this to wear off. So I charge, rend, Colossal Smash, Recklessness, Mortal Strike, Heroic Strike, Overpower, into a Slam, into a Mortal Strike, to Overpower, to a Slam. You just upkeeping that priority. And then when you are done using all of your rage, cast Deadly Calm to keep your rotation going, essentially. When you're in Deadly Calm, you can make sure to cast more Heroic Strike in between every global that you can. But that's basically it on the rotation. It's not very complicated. It's just a priority queue, essentially, after you get your opener. For your AoE rotation, you just want to use Sweeping Strikes and Blade Storm. Do not use them together. They're separate cooldowns. They don't work with each other very well. And then you want to use... With Sweeping Strikes, you want to use your single target rotation, except instead of like slamming and heroic striking, you want to cleave. Sometimes if there's like a lot of targets, you can throw in some whirlwinds and some thunderclaps. If there's like if it's just like a really big pool, it'll be worth swapping for. Other than that, you have gems as well. So for this, you always want to sim your character is really the best answer. I don't like simming my character. I'm just not into it. I'm not that big of a nerd. So I just try to match my sockets so I get the bonuses as well. I'm not exactly sure if that's best. You'd have to sim your character to figure it out. Otherwise, you're just putting in strength and crit for like the yellow sockets. Your enchants, I'm using berserking because I'm poor. I can't afford landslide. So I have berserking on my weapon. You get 50 crit on your bracers. You get extra stats on your chest. Crit on your cloak. Make sure you get the reputation shoulder enchant. And then the reputation strength enchant. And then you have a glove enchant, strength.
Purge of unauthorized